In the last lesson, we learned about a data structure called the linked list, which was convenient for traversing through a list of data and being able to add and remove data anywhere within the list. In this video, we're going to take a look at another data structure, a collection called a stack, which is useful for being able to retrieve data in a LIFO format, that is, last in, first out. You can think of this like a Pez dispenser. You can fill up the dispenser with individual candies one at a time, and each candy gets stacked on top of another candy. And then when you want to take one of the candies out of the dispenser, you must take from the top of the collection. That is, you must take the last candy that was inserted. So you're retrieving in a last in, first out fashion. Let's switch into Eclipse and see how we can work with a stack. I'm going to create a new class. I'll give this a name of stacks, that's with a capital S. And I'm going to put this into my Intro to CS package and then into the data structures package, and make sure to check the checkbox here to create your main method, and we'll hit finish. Now to create a stack, we'll need to import it into our class. So at the top of the file, let's use the import keyword, and it's under the Java and util packages, and it's named stack with a capital S. Next, inside of the main method, I'm just going to change the comment to say working with stacks. Let's now create the virtual Pez dispenser that I gave as an example at the start of this lesson, and we'll use a stack to do this. So we just start with stack, and then in angle brackets, we put the type of data that'll be held in our stack. So I'm going to use the string data type, and I'll give this a name of Pez, short for Pez dispenser. And we're just creating a new stack. And then again, inside of angle brackets, we put the type, string, and we open up our parentheses and end with a semicolon. Now to add on to the top of our stack, we can use our Pez object, and we can call its push method. We can just pass in a string here, and we're going to push a new candy onto the top of our stack. I just called it candy1. Now I'm going to duplicate this line a couple of times, and we'll push a few more candies onto the stack. So we'll have candy 2, candy 3, and candy 4. Now a stack only allows us to retrieve data in that last in, first out format. So we have two ways to access the candy off the top of our stack. We can use our Pez object, and we can call its pop method. And this is going to return the very top value from our stack. Since the last candy that we added in was candy 4, it'll return back the string candy 4, and it'll remove candy 4 completely from the stack. Candy 4 will no longer be in there. So if we'd like, we can store its return into a variable. So we'll create a string variable, and I'm just going to name it candy 4. And now we'll have a reference to whatever our pop method returns back to us. Now I'm just going to duplicate this line, and let's change this one to say candy 3. So we're calling pop a second time. Since the first pop grabbed candy 4 and removed it, we'll now have candy 3. So it's going to grab it from the top of the stack, return it back to us, and then remove it from the stack as well. Let's now use system.out.println, and let's print out the contents of our candy 4 variable. And I'm just going to duplicate this, and we'll also print out candy 3. Let's save the file, and we'll run the program. And great, you can see that our first pop grabbed candy 4, it then removed it from the stack, then our second pop grabbed candy 3, and it's also been removed from the stack. If we would call pop a third time, it would grab candy 2 and remove it as well. I'm just going to close the console here. Now we also have another method called peek, which allows us to just view the candy that would be popped next, but it won't remove it from the stack. It'll just return it to us so that we can take a peek at what's next to be popped. Let's try this out. Let's use system.out.println, and we'll use our Pez object, and we'll call its peek method. Let's save the file, and we'll run the program again. And there we go. You can see that we've gotten candy 2 back, and this time it hasn't been removed from the stack. We're just taking a peek at it. I'm going to close the console, and now there's one last method named search that we can use to search for an item in our stack, and it'll return back the position of where the item that we're looking for is located at in the stack. So let's use system.out candy.println, and we'll use our pes object. We'll call its search method, and we can search for candy1. Let's save our file, and we'll run the program. And perfect. You can see that we're getting the number 2 back in the console, and this lets us know that the item that we're looking for is 2 places down in the stack, and we just have to pop twice to grab the item that we are searching for. So remember, a stack is helpful for when you only need to store and access data in a last-in, first-out fashion. Next up, we're going to take a look at one final data structure called the queue, which is similar to a stack, but that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson.